In the small, dusty village of Omiala, where everyone knew everyone's business and secrets traveled faster than wind, lived a young woman named Amara. She was known for her quiet strength, the type that didn't shout or demand attention but glowed gently like sunrise. Amara came from a poor family. Her father, a struggling farmer. Her mother, a widow who spent her days selling roasted plantain by the roadside just to keep food on the table. People respected Amara, but they pitied her too. "Such a good girl," they would whisper. "If only life had been kinder." But Amara never complained. She carried her challenges with grace, always smiling, always pushing forward. Every morning, she walked to the stream with a cracked clay pot balanced perfectly on her head. And every evening, she helped her mother count the small coins they managed to earn that day. Life was simple until the day Tund showed up. No one knew where he came from. He wasn't from their village. He wasn't from any neighboring village either. He simply arrived one afternoon, walking quietly with a bag slung behind him, dressed in plain trousers and a faded shirt. To the villagers, he looked like nothing special, just another broke traveler trying to survive. But Amara noticed something different. When Tund approached her mother's roasted plantain stand, he didn't demand or boast like many travelers. He greeted her mother with respect, calling her Ma, offering to help stack firewood, even though he was a stranger. And when he looked at Amara, it wasn't with the hunger of men who saw a poor girl as an easy target. It was admiration, gentle, warm, sincere. Over the next few weeks, the village began buzzing with gossip. Tund is always helping Amara and her mother. He is poor like them, maybe they fit each other. Two struggling souls, what a match. Some laughed, mocked. Some warned Amara to stay away. But Tund wasn't just helping. He was building something, quietly, intentionally. He repaired the broken roof in Amara's home. He fetched water before sunrise when the stream was quiet. He helped her mother carry firewood. He even taught Amara's younger siblings how to read. Amara began to see what others didn't. His hands were rough like a man who had worked hard, but his voice was refined like someone who had seen better days. Still he lived simply. Still he wore the same clothes. Still he avoided personal questions. The villagers remained convinced. Tund is a poor man, a wanderer, not worth Amara's time. But Amara didn't care about wealth or status. What she cared about was the kindness in Tund's eyes, the peace she felt when he spoke, and the way he treated her mother like royalty. Slowly, quietly they fell in love. Then, one evening under the mango tree, Tund said softly, "Amara, I want to marry you." Her heart fluttered. She had never imagined such a moment. But she whispered excitedly, "Yes." The village reacted with shock, laughter, and judgment. Amara has chosen a poor man. She has finally accepted her fate. She should aim higher. Tund has nothing. Marriage cannot survive on love alone. But Amara only smiled. She believed in him, even when she didn't fully understand his past. However, what she didn't know was that Tund carried a secret so powerful, so life-changing, it would turn the entire village upside down. And that secret would reveal itself on their wedding day. The news of Amara's engagement to Tund spread across Omiala faster than harmattan dust. Within hours, it seemed the entire village had formed an opinion, and none of them were gentle. Some people whispered behind their raffia fences. Some murmured while pounding yam. Some pretended to greet Amara kindly, only to smirk after she passed. But the loudest voices came from the market women. You could always count on them. The market's verdict. "Amara is a good girl," Mama Yajide said, fanning herself dramatically. "But how can she marry a man who owns nothing?" Mama Nkechi scoffed loudly. "Nothing. That boy doesn't even have a proper pair of sandals." Another woman added, clicking her tongue. "Love is sweet, but poverty is bitter. They'll soon understand." Laughter scattered in the air like flying beads. Amara heard all of it. She kept walking, But each comment pricked her heart like small thorns. Yet when she thought of Tund, the honest smile, the gentle eyes, she felt peace again. Let them talk, she whispered to herself. They don't know him the way I do. The uncle who tried to stop everything. One evening, her mother's elder brother, Uncle Chibuzo, visited abruptly. His face set like carved stone. Amara, he called sternly, sit down. She obeyed, wondering what was wrong. I heard you want to marry that boy, Tund, he said, emphasizing that boy, as if Tund were a stray goat. Yes, uncle, she answered calmly. He sighed heavily, pacing. Amara, listen to me. A family like ours cannot afford another burden. That young man has nothing. No land, no inheritance, no cattle. Nothing. But, uncle. No. He raised a hand sharply. You are still young. You can wait. A better suitor may come. Amara lowered her eyes. How could she explain something so deep? Something no one else saw. I love him, she whispered. Her uncle froze. Love, he said as if the word disgusted him. Love cannot buy food. Love cannot pay school fees. Love cannot build a roof. Her mother, quiet all along, finally spoke. Brother, have watched them. Tund respects my daughter. He respects this family. That is worth more than riches. Uncle Chibuzo scoffed. You people are dreaming. He grabbed his walking stick and stomped out. Don't come to me for help when hunger knocks. Amara's mother shook her head, sighing. Love is not a luxury, she said softly. For some of us, love is the one gift life allows. Tund's strange behavior. As wedding preparations slowly began, Tund grew different. Not distant but cautious, thoughtful, distracted even. Sometimes he walked into the forest alone for hours. Sometimes he disappeared to visit neighboring towns without giving reasons. Sometimes Amara caught him staring into space, lost in heavy thoughts. One night, under the moon's soft glow, she asked quietly, Tund, are you hiding something from me? He turned to her, his expression troubled. Amara, he began, there are things I want to tell you, things I should tell you. But what? She whispered. I can't. Not yet. Why? Because, he exhaled slowly, if I tell you now, everything will change. The way people look at me. The way they treat us. The way we live. Her heart tightened. Was he married? Did he have a child somewhere? Was he sick? He touched her face gently, as if reading her thoughts. No, my love. Nothing like that. I swear. Then what? He shook his head. Trust me. Everything will make sense soon. Just believe in us. And she did. But the curiosity burrowed deep into her chest like a silent question that refused to leave. The day everything almost fell apart. 2 weeks before the wedding, a visitor arrived. A tall, well-dressed man stepped into the village, eye-catching in a way no one from Omiala had ever seen. His clothes were foreign. His shoes shone like polished mirrors. His accent carried the weight of city luxury. His name was Mr. Odadil. The villagers swarmed him instantly like bees around ripe fruit. Who are you looking for? Are you lost? Are you a government man? Mr. Odadil ignored the crowd and walked straight up to Tund's small thatched hut. Amara saw him from a distance as she fetched water. The sight troubled her. The visitor was speaking sternly, angrily to Tund. Tund looked tense, defensive, almost afraid. She approached quietly, hiding behind a banana tree just close enough to hear. You cannot keep running forever, the man said sharply. You belong to your family. There are responsibilities waiting for you. Tund clenched his jaw. I am not ready to return. Your father is aging. The business is expanding. You are the heir. The press is searching for you. Investors are asking questions. You should not be here, living like a commoner. Amara's heart slammed painfully. Heir, press, investors, business. What was happening? Tund replied slowly, voice low with emotion. I did not come here to run away. I came here to learn again. to understand people, to be free from the pressure. I want a life built on truth, not wealth. Your family won't wait forever, the man warned. And once they learn you are planning a wedding, they will come, whether you want them to or not. Tund lowered his head. My mind is made up. I will marry her. Mr. Odedil sighed deeply. Then prepare yourself. Secrets do not stay hidden. He walked away, leaving Tund alone. But Amara stood frozen behind the tree, trembling. Tund wasn't a poor man. He wasn't a wanderer. He was something else entirely. Something big. Something powerful. Something dangerous if mishandled. And now she wondered. Who exactly had she agreed to marry? But one thing was certain. Whatever Tund had been hiding, whatever he had run away from, whatever truth he feared, it was coming for them. And when it arrived, it would change the entire village. On the wedding day, the morning sun rose with a strange glow, brighter, heavier, almost expectant, as if the sky itself sensed that this would not be an ordinary day in Omiala. The village buzzed with a mixture of excitement and mockery. People dressed in their best Ankara. Drummers prepared rhythms. Women cooked pots of stew so large they could hide a full-grown goat inside. Children darted about, laughing and playing. But beneath all the noise was something else. Quiet, restless tension. 'Cause today was the wedding of Amara, the poor girl who stubbornly chose love over wealth, and Tund, the poor nobody whom the village believed was offering her nothing but struggle. No one, not one person in that entire village, expected what was coming. The gossip that set the tone. As Amara was being dressed, Mom and Kechi hissed loudly to anyone who'd listen. I still say love cannot fill an empty pot. When hunger comes, their eyes will clear. Another woman cackled. I heard she even borrowed some things for this wedding. Marriage of suffering. Meanwhile, some young girls giggled cruelly. She could have married Chaik the bricklayer. At least he has a bicycle. And land, another added. But Amara pushed all thoughts aside. Her mother's gentle hands braided her hair, and her aunt wrapped coral beads around her wrist. You look beautiful, her mother whispered. I am nervous, Amara admitted in a trembling voice. Every bride is nervous, her mother said with a knowing smile. But remember, love is not a mistake. Amara held on to that. It was the only thing keeping her steady. Tund's waiting moment. Tund stood outside the ceremony hut, dressed in a simple white agbada. He looked calm, but inside a storm raged. Would his family appear? Would the villagers mock him? Would Amara still love him after discovering the truth? Mr. Odedil's warning echoed in his mind. Secrets do not stay hidden. He inhaled deeply. Not even the wind could calm him today. The ceremony begins. Drums thundered. Dancers twirled. Guests gathered, forming a colorful circle filled with chatter. Amara stepped out, glowing like dawn itself. Her dress was not extravagant, but she wore it with grace that made her look like royalty. Tund's eyes filled with emotion. She was the reason he came here. She was the reason he chose a simpler life. She was the reason he learned to breathe freely again. Their hands touched, a moment soft enough to silence all the noise around them. The village elder lifted his staff to begin the blessings. And a faint rumble stirred in the distance. The arrival of the unknown. First people ignored it. Then it grew louder. Closer. Sharper. Boom. The villagers froze. For many had never heard such a sound before. In the next moment, something unbelievable happened. A long convoy of sleek black cars rolled into Omiala, shining like polished onyx, engines humming with quiet power. The drummers stopped. The dancers froze mid-step. Even the birds fled the trees. The market women gasped. Cars. So many cars. In our village. Who are these people? Uncle Chibuzo stood up, nearly dropping his walking stick. Ah! What is happening here? Children screamed with delight, running toward the shiny vehicles until parents dragged them back. The convoy halted in a perfect line. Silence fell. Even the wind paused to watch. The doors opened, and a group of dignified men in immaculate outfits stepped out. Their clothes were expensive. Their shoes gleamed. Their posture spoke of wealth and authority. At their center was a man with silver-trimmed hair and a presence so commanding the ground itself seemed to show him respect. Tund went pale. Amara's heart pounded. The entire village stared as the man approached. He stopped directly in front of Tund. The truth unveiled. "My son," the man said in a deep, steady voice. Gasps rippled across the crowd. "Son. Tund. Is this a joke? Oh. Amara has entered wealth, oh. Which father calls a poor man his son dressed like that?" The man embraced Tund, and emotion flashed across Tund's eyes. "I knew you would find me," Tund murmured quietly. "Of course," his father said. "You are the first son of Chief Adewale Oladimeji, owner of Oladimeji Holdings, the biggest agricultural company in the region." The crowd exploded. "What? Tund? The billionaire's son? Ah. Amara is blessed. Lord, take me too." Mama Nkechi fainted dramatically. Someone fanned her with a wrapper. Uncle Chibuzo dropped to his knees in shock, whispering, "I knew the boy had potential." He absolutely did not. Amara stood frozen, her mind spinning. Tund rich. A billionaire's heir. The man everyone mocked was actually wealthier than anyone imagined. Tund stepped forward and did something no one expected. He took Amara's hand, lifted it gently, and announced loudly, "This is the woman I choose. Not because of money, not because of status, but because she loved me before knowing who I was." His father looked at Amara with warm eyes. "You must be a rare woman," Chief Adewale said. "My son has never run away for anyone before." Then he turned to the villagers. "I did not come to take him back. I came to honor the bride he has chosen." The crowd erupted again, but this time with cheers. The gift that shut every mouth. The chief motioned to one of the cars. A man stepped forward with a document in a golden envelope. "This," Chief Adewale declared, "is my wedding gift to this couple. 100 hectares of fertile land, 5 million naira for development, and a modern home built to their taste." Silence. Then chaos. People shouted, screamed, jumped, praised, cried, collapsed onto mats, started speaking in tongues. Amara covered her face, overwhelmed. Tund held her close. "Now you understand why I hid," he whispered. "I needed to be sure someone loved me for who I am, not what I have." Amara cried softly, but her smile was radiant. The drums resumed, louder, happier, wilder. The wedding continued, but now with a celebration the village had never seen before. Fireworks lit the sky. Music thundered. People danced until their feet ached. Children laughed. The air smelled of hope. And at the center of it all stood Amara and Tund, the girl who chose love, and the man who hid wealth to find something real. But their journey wasn't over. Because happiness, especially newfound happiness, always attracts envy. And in the shadows of Omiala, someone was watching. Someone who could not accept that the poor girl had won. The sun had long set over Omiala before the celebration finally faded. The village slept peacefully, exhausted from dancing, eating, gossiping, fainting, and reviving all over again. But two people in Omiala did not sleep. Amara and they sat side by side on the veranda of Amara's family home, watching the lanterns flicker in the night breeze. The moon hung full and bright, bathing them in a silver glow. Amara broke the silence first. "Tund, everything still feels like a dream." He took her hand gently. "I'm sorry I didn't tell you earlier." "Why?" she asked softly. "Why hide such a big part of your life?" Tund stared into the darkness. When he finally spoke, his voice held the weight of years. "I didn't run from my father because of wealth. I ran because someone close to my family wanted me out of the way." Amara's breath caught. What do you mean? There are people who believe that if I disappear permanently, they will control what my father built. I left home to keep myself alive until I could figure out who was behind it. A cold shiver ran through Amara's spine. Are you safe now? Tund gave a small smile, but his eyes remained troubled. As long as you are beside me, I will fight to be. But the fear in Amara's heart only grew, because she remembered something she had seen earlier that day. A man she did not recognize, standing far from the crowd, watching her, watching Tund. She hadn't mentioned it yet, but now, she felt she needed to. There was someone at the wedding, she whispered. A man. He wasn't celebrating. He was just staring. Tund's fingers tightened around hers. What did he look like? She described him carefully. Tall, dark cap pulled low, a scar on one brow, and eyes sharp like a hawk's. Tund's jaw clenched. He knew that description. He knew it too well. Ibrahim, he breathed. One of my uncle's men. Amara's heart pounded. Your uncle sent someone here. Tund nodded slowly, fear and anger mixing in his expression. He came to watch. To see if I would return home. And to see who stood beside me. The wind shifted then, carrying the scent of rain and danger. Amara instinctively moved closer to him. What does he want now? Tund looked into her eyes, deeply, sincerely, and said, he wants to make sure I never claim the life that is mine. The shadow at the edge of the night. Just outside the compound, hidden behind a tree, the scarred man, Ibrahim, crouched in the darkness. He had been watching the newlyweds for hours. His orders were simple. Watch the boy. Observe the girl. Report everything. But Ibrahim had always been ambitious. Always hungry for rewards. Always willing to do more than asked. So tonight he stayed longer. And listened deeper. He heard their whispers. He heard Tund's confession. He heard Amara's fear. A thin smile curled on his lips. So the boy is still afraid, he murmured. Good. Fear makes people predictable. He melted into the shadows as silently as a ghost. But not before leaving a mark, literally. At the gate of Amara's family home. He scratched a symbol onto the wooden frame. It was small, barely noticeable, but deadly. A mark that only someone from Tund's world would recognize. A mark that meant, you are being watched. The next morning, Amara woke early, long before the cock crowed. Sleep had refused to come. Her dreams were filled with shadows, eyes, whispers, and the scarred man lurking in the darkness. She stepped out into the cool morning air, hoping the sunrise would calm her nerves. That was when she saw it. The mark. A strange, sharp symbol carved into the wood. Her blood ran cold. Tund, she called, voice trembling. He rushed to her side. What is it? Are you? Then he saw the carving. His face changed instantly. Softness vanished. Calmness disappeared. In its place was harsh, burning anger. How did he get this close? He muttered. I was awake half the night. Amara swallowed hard. What does it mean? Tund hesitated, then told her the truth. It's a warning. Means someone has found us. It means we are not safe here anymore. Amara felt the world tilt under her feet. But this is my home. I know, Tund said, pulling her into his arms. And I promise no harm will come to you. But we cannot stay in Omiala. Not now. Not with this. Then where do we go? Tund exhaled deeply. My father's estate. It is guarded, protected, watched day and night. No one can get in without permission. Amara nodded slowly, accepting the reality even as her heart whispered fear. When do we leave? She asked. Tund looked into her eyes. Tonight, he said. Before the shadows return. The village reacts. By noon word had spread. The villagers hurried through the dusty paths, whispering. Amara and Tund are leaving tonight? Why so soon? Is there trouble? Rich people and their drama. Maybe his father wants to show her to the world. No. I heard they're traveling to Abuja. Abuja? Who told you that? My spirit. Your spirit needs rest. But not all the whispers were harmless. Some came from darker corners. Some from people who had wanted Tun for themselves. Some from men who believed Amara got lucky. Some jealous, some angry. And one whisper, one very dangerous whisper, came from someone who had been waiting for this moment. A voice in the crowd said, "If they leave today, the girl might not return alive." The final night in Ome. Before sunset, Amara packed her few belongings. Tun stayed near the doorway, alert, tense, watching every movement outside. His instincts screamed danger. He could feel it in his bones. Someone was coming. The village looked calm, but the air was too still, too quiet, too heavy. Even the birds were silent. As the last light faded, Tun took Amara's hand. "We leave now," he whispered. But as they stepped outside, a shadow moved behind the tree. A figure stepped forward. A voice cut through the night. "You're not going anywhere." The figure stepped out of the shadows with slow, deliberate steps. The moonlight revealed his scar, running from brow to cheek like a lightning strike frozen in flesh. "Ibrahim." Amara froze. Tun instinctively moved in front of her. "I should have known you'd show yourself," Tun said, voice steady but eyes sharp. Ibrahim smirked. "You've been hiding for too long, boy. Your uncle is tired of waiting." Amara's heart pounded painfully. "What do you want from us?" "From him?" Ibrahim shrugged. "Nothing much. Just to make sure he never goes back home alive." Amara gasped. Tun tightened his grip on her hand. "You'll have to go through me first." Ibrahim's smile widened. That was always the plan. He reached into his pocket. But before he could pull anything out, a shout broke through the night. "Stop right there." Amara turned. A group of villagers, men, women, even elders, were running toward them carrying lanterns, sticks and farm tools. The leader, old Maman Kem, raised her walking stick. "Not in this village," she yelled. "We may gossip, we may complain, we may annoy these children, but we do not allow strangers to harm visitors." Tun blinked. He had never seen Maman Kem move that fast in his life. Ibrahim scowled. "This is none of your business. Step aside." But the villagers formed a solid wall around Tund and Amara. Maman Kem pointed at Ibrahim. "You think because we're villagers we're fools. You've been sneaking around watching, listening. We saw you." Another villager added. "We kept quiet because we didn't want to embarrass the young bride on her big day. We waited to see your intention. And now we know." Ibrahim backed up a little, surprised, outnumbered. "Do you think you can stop what is coming?" Ibrahim hissed. "Tun's uncle is powerful. He owns half the state." Maman Kem snorted. "And we own the other half, the half with people who actually work." A ripple of laughter went through the crowd. But the danger remained. Ibrahim's hand still lingered in his pocket. Tun stepped forward. "Ibrahim, go back and tell my uncle this. I am done hiding. I'm coming home with my wife, and anyone who tries to harm her will face me." Ibrahim's eyes flickered. "You think your father will support you? You think he still cares?" Tun didn't flinch. "I know my father. And I know you. If you could kill me easily, you would have done it years ago." Ibrahim stiffened because it was true. Tun stepped even closer. "You're not brave enough to fight me without backup. You came to scare me, not to attack me." The villagers murmured. Ibrahim's jaw tightened. He pulled his hand out of his pocket, revealing nothing more than a folded paper. He tossed it to the ground. "Give that to your father," he said. "And tell him, his time is running out." Then he melted back into the forest like a snake disappearing into grass. "White medium star the letter." Tund picked up the paper with trembling hands. It was sealed with a symbol, an eagle with one broken wing. Amara recognized it instantly. "Isn't that your family crest?" Tund nodded slowly. They rushed back inside, surrounded by villagers waiting anxiously. When Tund broke the seal, the entire room held its breath. Inside the envelope was only one sentence. If you want to see the truth, come home, alone. Amara grabbed his arm. No. Well, you are not going anywhere alone. Tund looked at her, eyes filled with conflict. This was addressed to me. He expects me by myself. Mom and Kem stepped forward. And if your uncle expects you alone, that's exactly why Amara must go with you. The villagers nodded. You're stronger together. She's your wife. She should see the truth too. 2 eyes see trouble. 4 eyes see more. Tund turned to Amara. She looked right back at him and said, If you go, I go. End of discussion. His heart softened. He took her hand. Then we go together. White medium star the journey back to the mansion. They left Omiala with blessings, prayers, and the entire village escorting them to the main road. Mom and Kem pressed something into Amara's palm. A charm for protection, she whispered. For danger you can't see. The bus ride was long, winding, and silent. Tund held Amara's hand the whole time. Finally, the massive iron gates of the Adeyemi estate appeared in the distance. Guards recognized Tund immediately. They bowed. Welcome home, sir. But Tund had no smile to give. He only said, Take us to my father. White medium star the Revelation Hall. The mansion was grand, silent, and cold, like a palace with no joy. Inside the main hall, seated at a long wooden table, was an old man. Dignified, sharp even in age. Tund's father, Chief Adeyemi. He stood slowly as they entered. My son, he said softly. You finally returned. Tund's voice tightened. You sent for me. The old man nodded. Yes, because it is time you learned the truth. Amara watched nervously. The chief gestured toward a door at the far end of the hall. A guard opened it. Inside was a second room, smaller, darker. Tund stepped inside with Amara. There, sitting on a wooden chair, was Tund's uncle, handcuffed, defeated, glaring. Chief Adeyemi spoke quietly. The assassination attempt, the threats, the plot to steal my empire. I knew. Tund turned to him in shock. You knew. Then why didn't you stop him? Chief Adeyemi sighed deeply. I wanted to catch everyone involved, not just the man in front. He pointed to Ibrahim, now brought in by 2 guards. 2 more men were dragged in, all accomplices. Amara gasped. Tund shook with disbelief. You were never in danger alone, his father said. We were watching you from a distance, protecting you quietly, gathering proof. Amara whispered. Oh my God. Chief Adeyemi walked toward his son. I am sorry for your fear. I am sorry you thought I didn't care. But I needed you to be strong enough to stand as my heir. He placed a hand on Tund's shoulder. And now, you are ready. White medium star the heir and his bride. The chief turned to Amara. And you, the girl from Omiala. You are the reason my son survived. Amara blushed. Chief Adeyemi bowed his head slightly, an honor no one had ever seen him do. Thank you. Tund took Amara's hand and pulled her close. She is my strength, my peace, my partner. The chief smiled. Then she is the future of this family. Amara felt tears rise. She had arrived as a nobody. Now she stood beside the next head of the Adeyemi Empire. White medium star the future begins. Later that evening, as the estate quieted, Tund and Amara sat under the stars in the mansion's courtyard. Are you afraid? Tund asked. Amara leaned against him. Yes, she said honestly. But I'm also ready. Tund kissed her forehead. We have survived the shadows, he whispered. Now we step into the light. Hand in hand, they looked toward the massive estate that would now be their home. Their journey had been filled with fear, betrayal, danger. But love had triumphed. And their story was only beginning.